So when I'm talking about Tylenol brain, I'm calling it a redundancy factor. So we'll call it T-Brain redundancy. T-Brain redundancy factor. And this does 25 to 30% numb. So when I'm speaking about Tylenol brain, what I'm talking about is it's making people 25, basically 30% dumbed down, numb, and like soulless. A black-eyed nihilist, but they just kind of don't care. They're just indifferent to everything. They are not only sheep, but they are just unaffected. They're just indifferent. They are sort of an NPC. They sort of like have a deadness, a dullness in their eyes. And this is a problem because you cannot be a peak performer and have Tylenol brain. You cannot, that cannot happen. So if you have Tylenol brain, you can only perform at like 70% of your capacity. And that's on your best day. That's with the best night's sleep, the best hydration, good mood, you ate a good meal, and everything like that. So why is this a problem? Because we start to see this all the time. And it's like a lack of empathy and a lack of caring or giving a shit about your job. So, for example, when you go into like how I had my hand cut and I went into the urgent care, people can't get with it and say like, hey, let's stop this bleeding and then we can take care of some of the other stuff. They can't get quick with it. They're not in the moment. They're off in space. They don't understand what planet they're on because there's a numbness to them. There's a disconnect to them. There's an incoherence to them. There's a vagueness to them. There's a kind of a narcissistic but kind of nihilist part to themselves. They don't have God. You can't have God all the way if you have Tylenol brain at the same time. You can only have maybe maximum 70%. That's only if you like pray and fast and do all that stuff. Then you get 70%. If you have Tylenol brain, you're kind of cooked. But Tylenol brain helps a lot of people in some cases. That because if you have Tylenol brain, you won't question anything. You will not think for yourself. You will not break any rules. You will not question the status quo. You will not think for yourself. You will not be able to get a joke. You will not be able to understand nuance. You will not be able to understand context. You will not be able to understand art. You will not be able to understand certain concepts or paradigms. So when you're dealing with people with Tylenol brain, it's like they kind of make you dumber because you have to explain shit to them that shouldn't even need to be explained at all. So they actually kind of lower your intelligence. So like, I'm having trouble thinking of an example because the examples are kind of like are so crazy that it's like it's hard to even think of one. A recent example, I went to this kind of like sort of gas station place, and I on one of my lunch breaks, and I asked like, hey, can I get a couple slices of pizza? And it was like a Mexican guy behind the counter, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He doesn't know. I don't care if he knew English or not, but I said, can I have, 3 pieces of pizza? Okay. And I had to tell him to like, so he just put 3 pieces of pizza piled on top of each other. And I was like, no, put a plate on it. And like, but when I go back a year later to that same place and that guy still doesn't know like one word of English or understand pizza or understand how to like put pizza on a plate and do like this one simple thing, that's Tylenol brain. He's comfortable staying at the level that he's at and he doesn't care. Like Tylenol brain people don't care about customer service. They're basically sort of like an NPC where they just do what they are told to do. And they're kind of drooling on themselves and numb, and they probably maybe like football, or they, you know what I'm saying? They're cooked. And it is by design because these people can't think in terms of paradigms. They can't think in terms of much at all, really. Like the best they can do is kind of like repeat information that they are told. They can't, come up with a creative solution or, think outside the box or think for themselves. I guess a recent example is I sold a truck, and when I've sold the truck, I told, it was kind of more of a kid. Let's say, I don't know, he was 25 years old or something like that. So when I told him, I said, hey, the GPS messes up the directions to my house all the time. I'm going to give you this address, but I want you to confirm these 3 other things. And in fact, I think you should use the address that I'm telling you, and then you just have to go across the street from it. And they was like, okay. And I had to tell him like 5 times. I was like, don't go to this other address because it's going to send you like 20 minutes more north from my house. And then it's kind of confusing for me to tell you how to get back to my house. So what do? They just go to the wrong one. It's like, I don't know how many times, how are you going to understand that I'm trying to save you time and me time? Like I had no reason to tell you all these other details except that it was worth it. I'm not trying to be controlling of what you're doing. So certain things like that, they just like we always are lowering our standard in the modern public. Like for example, anytime you go to a Walmart or a Subway sandwich shop or something like that, the people have Tylenol brain. They're just kind of like an automaton, just kind of, slowly being a zombie. And they're just kind of numb. Like they could watch somebody kind of get hurt in front of them and they won't really help them. They'll just kind of sit there and kind of watch them as a black-eyed nihilist. So the only thing they do know is how to follow rules. So they are a very good rule follower. They know, no, I don't break the rules. I do not break the rules. That's the one thing that they do know. So they're very good at not breaking rules. For even if it makes sense to do so on a minor rule. No. They won't do that. They're also very bad and unaware drivers. They don't use their directional. They don't look when they merge onto the highway. They don't have a quick reaction time. Like, so if the light turns green, that's what I'm talking about, is this redundancy factor. Their reaction time is hindered by 25 to 30% already. So I'm not expecting them to be a peak performer, but once the light turns green, the way they process information is just slower. It's more retarded. It's a redundancy factor. And I'm not saying they're retarded. I'm saying it's a different thing. They're numb. It's not like they're missing chromosomes or something like that. But this affects companies, organizations, the level of standard of how you do everything. These are people who also work for the government. If you go into your DMV, if you go into your town hall and stuff like that, they're basically like a robot who doesn't know how to like help you get something done. So like, I guess another example that I have is, Yeah, they don't know how to use roundabouts correctly and stuff. I'm talking about a vague thing, but once you start understanding the concept, you're going to see it a lot more and understand it more. So, for example, I had to over the winter time, I had to fix someone's mailbox, and I had to order like a special metal bracket for this lady's mailbox, and I had to go. Only like 2 places had it, and one of them happened to be I live in New Hampshire and they were in Massachusetts. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I can actually get it from a, you know, semi-local small company, not on Amazon type of thing. So I called the woman up. I said, hey, do you have, this mailbox bracket, part number 95, we'll just say. She's like, oh, yeah, we have it. And I was like, okay. She's like, we're open till 5 or whatever. I was like, well, I live like 5 hours away. Is there any, can you mail this to me? She's like, no, we don't mail it. Nope. And I was like, yeah, but like, I will pay you money to put it in a box and mail it. I'm going to pay you extra money to do it. And it was something very simple to mail. And she didn't understand the process of how to do anything like that. So oftentimes with these people, you have to coach them how to do something, like how to make a sandwich or something. Like, hey, you're like waving at them. Hey, what I need you to do is I need you to put this thing here and then get this next thing and then put it with this thing and then put it with that thing. Okay. You have to like coach them how to do shit. That's basic and already their job. So basically you almost need to like go do their job like for them. That's part of Tylenol brain. They don't care about quality. They don't care about production. They don't care about their time or your time. It doesn't matter to them because that piece is missing. They're 30% dead, 25 to 30% dead. Yeah, they have a 30-second attention span. Basically. Hello, Keyshawn Jones. But more than that, they don't understand nuance. So if I have to explain them something and I need to set up some context or nuance, that cannot compute in their brain. That's what I'm saying. So they can't understand special circumstances or something that's an emergency. Like if there's ever an emergency, you're cooked if someone has Tylenol brain because they can't get with it. They can't, if the building's burning, like, okay, the building's burning, or just kind of walk down slow. They have no speed too. Tylenol brain people have no speed. That's why I'm saying they can't figure out how to merge. They can't figure out how to like be in the moment. Those things they're just non-existent to them. It's a huge thing because this hurts the United States because this is why we can't produce anything and have factories and stuff here because these Tylenol brain people are useless. And there's just more and more of them all the time. These people don't care about the standard. They don't care about the latest vaccine that comes out. They don't care if their neighbor's kid is eaten by Epstein. As long it's not my neighbor, I don't care. It didn't happen to me. That's fine. This mentality is killing us, and like I said, it's a redundancy factor, and it gets passed down to your kid. So even if like I don't know a ton about, I know a little bit about autism, but what I'm talking about, it's a cognitive disconnect. It's also too, you don't see yourself, you don't even care about your own neighbor. It's also that too, like 30% way you don't care about your own neighbor anymore. You don't care about God. You don't care, like 30% of your soul is dead. And some of these people didn't have much to work with in the beginning. So this is what I'm calling the T-Brain Redundancy Factor, 25 to 30% numb or dead. It's really like dead, actually. It's really dead. And this goes for male and female, all sorts of ages and stuff. And they're not high. It's not like they're just stoned. It's a little bit different. And it's actually very hey Brian. Brent's here. Time to think, sheeple. A whole bunch of people in here. So but they're also nihilistic in the sense that they don't have any values or morals. 30% of that is gone too. And I'm not saying what their values or morals or sense of righteousness and right and wrong and just and unjust are. I'm not even saying that what that should be for them. I'm just saying whatever they had in their mind, that's 30% cooked. So it's just kind of a nothingness there. It's actually kind of terrifying, but they're comfortable with the nothingness. This is why they don't care about poison in the food. They don't care. They do not care about things like that. They don't care that the money's printed. They don't care about things like 9/11, things like that. They can't compute anything like that at all. They can't compute anything like that. It's way beyond them. Yeah, a dumb population is easy. Yeah, I want to say it's almost numb. They're comfortably numb, but I don't even think they're that happy. I think they're just, I don't know, I guess they are kind of comfortably numb. Liberty Caps writes in, look at the state of public schools and higher academia. It's no accidents and indoctrination. Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of Riddlin. Oh, so this perfect. You reminded me of something that I wanted to talk about. So a side effect of Tylenol brain is Disney brain. Disney brain and Harry Potter brain. Let me see. Cool. Let me go. So let me pivot to